Hey, welcome to iGuide Movies. I'm Timothy Guy, and with me as always...
I'm Stephanie Holland. Hello.
Oh, there she is. So this is the week we have actually been waiting for.
Because there's some good movies.
We've had those October doldrums where it was just horror movies and ridiculous schlock stuff. So this is the week. We are happy. I think we are ecstatic to go to the movies on Friday. We might miss work. You didn't hear me say that?
You might want to say that on a less televised show.
I'm feeling a little under the weather. So we're going to start with what we think is the most exciting one, which we heard about at D23 last year.
Last D23.
Not the last year, but the year before that.
Yeah, last year. Last year's D23.
Yes.
They have them every 2 years, so it gets a little weird sometimes.
We need a flow chart again. It's called Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, it's the latest Disney animated movie, which
Not Pixar.
It's not Pixar, but John Lasseter is the head of Disney Animation, and he did a lot of work on this. So
the plot is John C. Reilly plays this bad guy video game character. It's a lot like that Rampage video game. I don't know if anyone remembers Rampage, where you're a monster and you knock down the buildings.
Yeah.
And it's called Fix-It Felix Jr. and he's played by Jack McBrayer from 30 Rock. And they're in obviously this video game from the 80s. It's still around, and he's sick of being the bad guy. He's sick of getting beat up on a daily basis, and he decides he's going to jump into the other games to become a hero.
Because he's actually a good guy. He's just stuck playing the bad guy.
Well, they say that in the trailer. Yeah. Just because you're the bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. So like Tim said, Jack McBrayer is one of the voices, Jane Lynch, Sarah Silverman, really strong voice cast. And the animation on this is so spectacular because when you look at the 80s video games that have sort of that 8-bit feel to them. Yeah. And then he's jumping into like first-person shooter Halo style games, so they have to look more futuristic. The animation is so spectacular. And I remember when we were at D23 and they were sort of giving a little preview of the animation, that's when I first got excited and thought, wow, this looks like a really good movie. But then when I started to hear about the story and saw that and heard the voice cast, this looks like this might be the next sort of Disney instant classic.
Well, not only that, is anyone who loves video games, you can see in the trailers that Disney somehow got the rights to show like the Pac-Man villains are in there. Yeah. Zangief is in there from Street Fighter. You got zombies and
they got the rights to a lot of They got the rights to a lot of classic games, which is cool. And then it just looks like a really fun movie, but has a little bit of a story to it, a little heart, and and that's what they do best. So like you said, it's not a Pixar movie, but I get a feeling with the level of this animation and probably just the sheer amount of work that it took, they got a lot of help from Pixar.
Well, yeah, and I think the other thing too is we hardly ever see like an animated film like this that's targeted to like a young boy, obviously, and then geeks like me that are old and really love video games.
Remember the games. Yeah. And
so I think it's going to be a nice, well-rounded audience.
And just in case you're interested, like most Disney movies, they are having the special screenings at the El Capitan in Hollywood.
They're going to have a live DJ there, and you're going to be able to meet the characters, and then they have some art and stuff after the movie. You can go look at the art from the movie.
And I really recommend it. I've seen a couple of their movies there. Notably a couple of the Pirates movies, and it's just always, it's just an extra way to see the movie. I know it's a bit of a drive to Hollywood, but make a day out of it. Go to the soda fountain next door.
They have a good tuna sandwich.
So that's probably my pick for the week before we even get into the other ones. But
we're kind of moving into a different opposite end of the spectrum.
I suppose if you wanted, the parents could drop the kids off at Wreck-It Ralph and go see this one.
Okay, let's just start. Stephanie, tell me when you saw the Red Band trailer, what was the line that you texted me?
An eyeball. Seriously, an eyeball. Because that's in the red. We're talking about The Man with the Iron Fist, which is written and directed by RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan.
RZA.
That's how you have to say his name.
RZA.
RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan.
As you can see in the photo.
Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang. Vanessa loved that.
Okay.
But
thumbs up. So.
And it's basically a big sort of samurai Western action fighting movie. I don't know if there's a story other than just a lot of fighting
Probably not.
and blood and guts.
There's some gold being moved somewhere. people want it and people get murdered. So
the movie is Quentin Tarantino presents. So he sort of
he produces
it. And the cast, I'm wondering how many favors did Quentin Tarantino have to call in to get this cast?
Well, first of all, Russell Crowe.
Lucy Liu.
Batista from wrestling.
I don't think he had to do too much to get Batista. His schedule was open.
It's pretty open, yeah.
But and a bunch of other big sort of action stars, both American and Asian action stars, and I'm just thinking that Tarantino called in a few favors to get them into this movie. But the Red Band trailer, if you are on the fence wondering if you should go see this movie, you should watch the Red Band trailer because that's going to give you the best idea of whether you can handle it because it is very violent.
Not as bad as the new Red Band trailer for the new Evil Dead movie, which I'm recommending no one watches.
No, don't at all.
Especially before you eat.
But this movie is really violent with the swords and the fighting and the blood.
Guts and the...
Because, yes, there is a part in the movie where somebody loses an eyeball.
He punches him in the face and the eyeball just goes...
flies across the screen. So the only thing that's going to make this worse is if it's in 3D and the eyeball is flying out at you.
That's a good idea.
But these kinds of movies do very much have an audience.
They're made for cheap. They'll do well on DVD, overseas.
Also, I want to mention the Wu-Tang Clan has a very loyal fan base. So all of those fans will go see it just to support the Wu-Tang Clan.
Well, Tarantino does too. It's also co-written by Eli Roth, who did the Hostel movies. So
they're this whole little clique who likes to work together.
Yeah. So, and those Lucy Liu fans, just watch out for them. They're crazy.
She's an awesome action star, though. I
love Elementary. So
yeah.
Let's go to another one, which has yet another completely different audience.
It's just like...
So here's the thing. So the parents drop the little kids off at Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Then they drop the teenagers off at The Man with the Iron Fist. And then they go and see Flight.
There you go.
Denzel
the whole family gets out.
Denzel Washington's movie. He plays a pilot who is in a plane crash, but he actually does something that no other man can do and flips the plane all around. It saves a bunch of people, but then you find out he may have been drunk while he did that.
But before that, he becomes sort of a Captain Sully.
Media darling.
Everybody loves him. And I mean, you know, I've been on lots of planes. I personally have never had a pilot who looked like Denzel Washington, number one. And number two, I can't imagine being on a plane and, you know, the only way to get out of it is to flip the plane over. That's crazy.
Well, this has a good pedigree because Robert Zemeckis actually directed this, and this is, I believe, his first live-action film in quite some time because he was doing those motion capture movies.
He's been doing a lot of animated
Beowulf
motion capture, kind of Christmas Carol. Then he was spending all that time working on Yellow Submarine, which did not get made.
There's got to be some bits of that done that will be released someday.
Movies like that, you know, they work on for a good 5 years. So
it's a D23 curse. So thankfully, Wreck-It Ralph passed
but this cast, Denzel, we mentioned Denzel, John Goodman, who else were you?
Don
saying?
Cheadle,
Don Cheadle,
Bruce Greenwood. So it's a good cast, and I think the other thing is John Goodman either has a really great agent or he just knows how to read scripts because he's been picking good stuff just. Boom, boom, boom.
I think he's at a point in his career where he just does what he wants because obviously he's not working for money anymore. So
that Roseanne money is still coming in.
It's on 17 times a day, so those checks are still rolling in.
Yeah,
so
he's
he can just pick and choose what he wants.
And he's still in theaters with Argo, so you can see him in Argo still.
Denzel's getting a little bit of early Oscar buzz, but that Best Actor category is going to be so crowded and tough this year. I think it's just he's getting buzz right now, but when it gets down to it, he's probably not going to get a nomination.
Well, speaking of which, there's a movie playing in limited release. I just want to bring it up because I thought this was an amazing trailer. Sean Penn, he's in this movie called This Must Be the Place. And I guess whenever you mention Sean Penn, you automatically say he's a contender for Best Actor because he's won twice.
No matter what he does, he's always an Oscar contender.
So, as you could see, I tried to keep this a secret so Vanessa and Stephanie wouldn't see this. He plays an aging rock star who lives in Dublin, and he lives off the glory of his former songs. And I believe he's completely ripping off Robert Smith from The Cure.
It does really
It looks just like...
does really look like Robert Smith.
And he talks like, hello, you know, he talks very, very feminine and very low. And what it is he sort of hides away from his life. And he doesn't talk to his father. His father's dying. He goes to the United States to see his father, and he finds out his father was in the Holocaust, and his father was actually hunting down one of the last Nazi people, guards. And so Sean Penn takes it upon himself to hunt down this Nazi on his own. So it's this gothic, crazy rock star chasing down a Nazi criminal.
Well, that certainly sounds, and it appears like that could be his next Oscar nomination. That sounds just nuts. Number
Frances
one.
McDormand's in it too, so.
It sounds crazy. It sounds like it might be too crazy. Like, it might go too far one way.
Google it, watch the trailer, and then come back to me and let me know. Go to my blog and you can send me hate mail.
Just on the surface of the description. The trailer might be great, but it does
I think I described it pretty well.
It does sound awfully crazy, but Sean Penn has not been making mainstream movies for a while.
Sean Penn can do whatever he wants because he's Sean Penn.
Yeah, he's really been making a lot more of these smaller art movies.
Yeah.
Because like John Goodman, he's not working for money. So.
That's true. So you can always go to my blog, which is blog.pd.com/Tim-Guy, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.